The major grand final is between Spirt and FaZe Clan, an historic event that had been building up since the start of the year, but to understand why this final had so much riding on it, we have to go back. This year has just started and a new star is on the block, Donk. From a nobody to now tying the legendary rifler NiKo's record for the greatest event rating, and in this event, in the grand final, we had FaZe Clan, who ended 2023 as one of the best teams in the world. And this meeting started the year of professional Counter-Strike with a beating that was not easy to watch.
The future of Counter-Strike! Team Spirit!
Before we get fully into this video, I know it's long, so I have divided the video into chapters, so you can see the video at your own pace, as well as if you only care about the breakdown of the final, here's the timer for that. The grand final of IEM Katowice showed a shift the older generation was afraid of, and that was that CS2 would bring the new guys up and out with the old. And the ranking proved it for everyone. FaZe started 2024 as one of the best teams in the world, combined with Vitality, but fell in the rankings as newer teams like Mouse, Spirit, Navi and more took the top spot in the world. And for any FaZe fans, this was hard to accept, seeing legends of the game like Kerrigan and Rain not be contenders for trophies like they used to for most years of Counter-Strike. But it was not all good for Spirit. After their explosion onto the scene in Katowice, as well as winning Blast Spring Final, their year was halted to a stale, as the dynamic of the team and just their playstyle seemed to be off. And going into the major, FaZe was ranked as the 6th best team in the world by Spirit as the 4th best team. Two teams who started the year fighting for the number 1 spot was not even in top 3 anymore. Before the build up to the major, we had the Blast World Final, a nice benchmark for most teams, as this was the last big event before the biggest event of the season. And in the World Final, we saw the number 1 team in the world, Navi, go out in last place, as well as FaZe Clan going out in 5th to 6th place after a tough loss to Spirit in the playoffs, while Spirit had just hit their resurgence and managed a top 2 finish, with G2 taking the trophy home. But these benchmarks gave us a list of power rankings, seeing G2 and Spirit as the contenders for the majors, while Vitality and Mouse, linked with Navi, was at least top 4 if not top 2 contenders of the major, while FaZe Clan would be lucky to get into the top 8. And at the same time, Spirit saw Donk reach new peaks, together with Hero and Sontix making them a real threat of a trio, while FaZe on the other hand saw new lows with Rops, Broky and Frozen, once regarded as a top 3 trio. Now was being outclassed by Spirit, Navi, Vitality Mouse and G2's trios. So for these two teams, the build-up was like black and white. Spirit saw success and resurgence, while FaZe saw failure and destruction. FaZe RMR run was nothing special, but it was not clean, as FaZe landed in Group A and was placed as the 4th best team, and this gave them a fine route through the RMR, 2 wins on the first day, against Falcons and Cloud9. Close games, but FaZe had the perfect day 1, versus teams outside of the top 10 in the world. And when the best of 3 matches came, to see who would qualify for the Elimination Stage, FaZe had to go up against Vitality, the 2nd highest ranked team in the RMR Group A, and the team FaZe just 12 months ago was fighting with in 2 grand finals in the end of 2023, and for the 1st place spot in CS2. And for FaZe, this was their first fight versus a top 3 team, and it did not go well, as FaZe lost 2-0, and had to hope they would manage to make it all work on day 3. Day 3 rolled around, and FaZe drew Fnatic, and this was a walk in the park and a relief, and FaZe had qualified for the Elimination Stage.
Perfect world, Shanghai Major. Job done.
Spirit was in Group B of the EU RMR, and this did not go as well. Spirit came off the high of a 2nd place finish in the Blast World Final, but the RMR broke them, with day 1 starting off, and Spirit went 1-1, beating B8, but losing to newcomers Passion UA. And this was making all the alarms of Spirit go off, as they came into Group B as the 2nd best team in the mix. Spirit then beat Aurora to get into the 2-1 group, and this gave them 2 BO3s to fight in to make it. And here they squared up against G2, and the match was close, but remember the power ranking we talked about. G2 were supposed to win this event, and G2 was holding that promise as they beat Spirit 2-1. And Spirit on the last day had to face Sashi. And here Spirit locked their ticket for the opening stage of the major, making their run that much harder to achieve. But something happened, as Valve had overlooked some part of their own rules, and Spirit, who was now struggling, got a lifeline. As with the rules of Valve, teams are seeded based on Valve's regional standings within the regional predefined seeds. That's a tough sentence to say, and Spirit was quite high up there, and got the chance to skip the opening stage, entering directly into the Elimination Stage.
Continues and Sontix and Donk in form.
And the Elimination Stage are the last meeting of the best 16 teams in the world, with 9 of them being in the top 9 in the world. as well as the lowest ranked team was top 22 in the world, so there were a lot of serious teams here. FaZe started the stage weak, like they were not working together and it was clear versus wildcards, the lowest ranked team in the event. The match got close, and already now, well, no one was believing in FaZe and most saw them change the roster after the season. But FaZe pulled through with a win. Later the same day they met Heroic and was wiped the floor with, as Heroic went into the 2-0 bracket while FaZe into the dreaded 1-1 bracket. And against them they had Mouse, a team that has so far not been good to face this year, with a score of their head-to-head being 2-0 to Mouse in the last 2 times they played. But this is the best of ones and everything can happen, and their FaZe styled on them. It was like a new FaZe that day. On Inferno with Robs, Frozen and Kerrigan, the old Mouse trio, beat their former org down to the 1-2 bracket while FaZe secured the best of 3 for the rest of the way. And here FaZe met G2, the team most thought would win the whole event, making the storyline of NiKo's last stands with them perfect. And here FaZe lost and it was not easy to watch as G2 played the fastest game at the event versus FaZe to secure their spot at the playoffs, while FaZe had to face Furia to make it to the playoffs. 2 legendary IGLs going head to head, and when the dust settled, we saw FaZe as the last team of the day to qualify for the playoffs, while Furia went home. For Spirit, this was easier. They had just been given a lifeline and they were not going to let that go to waste. And here started slow on day 1 with a loss to Furia but a wildcard win, and just like FaZe entered the 1-1 bracket for the day. But in front of them stood Na'Vi, first ever Counter-Strike 2 major winners, and a good team to pick for the major finalist spot. But Na'Vi let the Mirage through, a map they were not ready to face Spirit on and got their ass kicked by Spirit. And Heroic would have the same fate, and Spirit had made it to the major playoffs as the 5th team to do so. And again, the journey of FaZe Clan and Spirit going into this major was similar, both facing wildcards Heroic and Furia, but Spirit was just looking much stronger as Donk started to frag out. The playoff bracket has been drawn and Spirit should celebrate, while FaZe were not as happy. Spirit would face Liquid and then Mouse or Mongols to make it to the grand final, while FaZe would have to beat Vitality and then Heroic or G2 to make it to the final. And by looking at who they actually beat, FaZe had to get past teams with an average ranking of 2.5 in the world, while Spirit had to get past teams with an average ranking of 9 in the world. Spirit was said to face off Liquid, the lowest ranked team, but as well as the biggest black horse in the event, with players that can shine and turn games around. But Spirit would not have any of that, as they steamrolled Liquid on a newbies as soon as they got the ball rolling. On the second map it got closer than expected, with Spirit struggling to close out DUST2. Don't worry, this will become a common trend, and I made a whole video about that attempted comeback from Liquid. But when a team struggles like that, it shows all the other teams that even Spirit has some weaknesses that can be abused. And in the major playoffs, this is the last thing you want to give your opponents. And after a close and to be fair lucky DUST2 Round 24 win, Spirit had taken down their first barrier to lift the trophy.
To disrupt, it's falling through their fingertips, so close, yet so far. Liquid eliminated from the major at the hands of Spirit.
While FaZe had a tougher run, meeting Vitality, who at the RMRs already beat them 2-0 quite dominantly. And for Vitality, this was their last run as well. There most likely will be team changes in their camp. And for Saivu, this was his chance to still stay in the race for the best player in the world, something he has been able to run for ever since he entered the scene. Kinda insane. But for FaZe, playoffs changed this team, as the energy from the crowd changes how they play, calls and wins. And they would not let this go to waste, as the last 2 big events that has been in China, while Kerrigan, Frozen and Rob has won all of them. On map 1, FaZe pick, while Vitality dusted them, and it looked like this was the end of FaZe. As going into the playoffs, even though FaZe was ranked top 6 in the world, everyone had them as the worst team in the playoffs, even though both Mongols and Liquid was lower ranked in the ratings. And Vitality head to head against FaZe was not looking pretty for one of the sides, with Vitality beating FaZe in their last 4 encounters. On the second map, FaZe knew they had to shine, and Robs did that with ease. And we got one of the better showings from FaZe, a type of showings that makes the viewers talk and the team shiver. And against all odds, FaZe had beaten the 3rd best team in the world, and in real Kerrigan fashion. While he had this to say to the news reporter, he has to beat G2 and Spirit to make this the hardest major run ever, to beat number 2, 3 and 4 in the world, as the clear underdog and the clear worst team in the playoffs.
No time, no hope, FaZe Clan, truly miracle run. In Shanghai no less, the major playoffs, and they knock them out again.
The semi-final showed us the last 4 remaining teams and their storylines, would all clash to make it to the last stage of the playoffs. For Spirit, it was to prove that Shiro made the right decision of leaving Cloud9 and gamble on this talent of a player, and for Donk to be the youngest ever major winner and MVP, an unbeaten record since Kirby won the major with Astralis almost 10 years ago. But for Mouse, this was their last dance, with talks about multiple of their players looking at different orgs to continue their careers. And only one would come out on top to prove they wanted it more. And it looked like Mouse would be the one, after beating Spirit on NUKE, where Mouse managed to make Donk look useless, with him only managing to get 6 kills, showing a lot of teams that NUKE might be a weak spot for Spirit, with only their AWP able to perform. But again, Spirit are showing weaknesses in this major run, but they would not let this stop them at all. Map 2 started off different, with Spirit taking the control of the start with a lead of 9-3 and closing the match 13-4. It seems like the map boss gave them a newfound way of playing, and their loss on NUKE did not matter anymore, and map 3 was Mirage, and here again we saw Spirit put the final nails into the coffins of Mouse, as they walked away with a victory and their time to shine in the final, just like we saw in Katowice.
And for the first time in major grand final for Spirit, the organization has sealed it. The goal of every team, it's theirs. The trophy, the only obstacle left.
FaZe vs G2 was the match of the day, with way too many storylines to even start with. For m0NESY, this was his chance to still be in the run for his first ever major trophy, MVP and the best player in the world, while for NiKo it was his hunt for the major, something he let slip through his fingers in 2018, and he would not let that happen again. As well as for G2, this was their last dance, as NiKo is rumored to not stay in the org anymore. For Snax and Taz, it was all their chance to prove the once dominant Polish team Virtus.pro still had players who could lift major trophies 10 years later in new roles. While FaZe, this was their chance to fix what they could not in the last major, as FaZe once again made it to the finals but lost to Navi in map 3. And Kerrigan's chance to win this event for his brother and himself, and FaZe's chance to finally become CS2 major winners. It was for FaZe to be the second org ever to win a major in both CSGO and CS2. But one more player wanted this win. Let me introduce you to Rops, a player that helped FaZe win a lot of events, being molded by Kerrigan in Mouse, and now in the big league was strong. In the start of CS2, he was looked at as one of the best players in the world, but after buying a car, as the memes say, well, he was not hitting anything anymore. And this fall from grace was not easy to watch, but coming into the playoffs, while he was the highest rated player in the playoff stage, leagues above any other players fighting for the crown as the best in the world, and versus G2 he once again proved that. G2 must have loved this matchup versus FaZe and was happy it was FaZe and not Vitality they would meet, as their head-to-head versus FaZe was a 5-win streak, all dominant, so this would not be easy. While G2 versus Vitality, head-to-head was only 60% in the last 5 matches, not 100. But G2, like all other teams fighting for the crown, well, they had seen this resurgence from FaZe in the playoffs and knew they could not underestimate them. But again, why would G2 be scared, having players like m0NESY, NiKo and Malbs carrying their games? It's not like FaZe could do the same, right? Map 1 was Ancient, and here FaZe started it strong with an 8-0 start, and this must have been a shock to all of G2, as the last time these two teams faced each other, FaZe had an average of 3.5 rounds in the best of 3 just 5 days ago. And the beating would not stop there, as on NUKE, a map G2 has been the best in the world at, with NiKo and m0NESY always coming through, G2 having a win rate of 100% over the last 8 games. Well, this should be easy. And let me tell you, it was not. The half ended with FaZe being up 8-4. Once again, FaZe are flying away with this match, but G2 knew FaZe would be worse on the T side. And here G2 started to get the ball rolling in their favor. And G2 won 7 rounds in a row to almost score match point. And on the last lifeline in the run of the crown, here again we saw FaZe put up round after round, and overtime was the only solution to this battle.
There's been a push. Back turned. Wait, his timing could be everything. Kerrigan able to sweep away Hunter. Snax now to come out from the vent. Snax has been so key, but he will go down with nothing. And NiKo looks to recover from a spot that haunts his dreams. A flash into the backside. Molly at the feet of the planter. Into the fight he'll go, but no, not today. Not versus FaZe.
And in overtime, G2 managed to get 2 rounds, FaZe got 4. And this was not what G2 wanted, leading to a team that had no right being in the final. All the storylines of G2, their last dance, NiKo's last chance to win a major, and Taz and Snax winning a major almost 10 years later, after they won their major in 2015, was all gone. While for FaZe, Kerrigan asking for this and being rewarded while they were heading into the championship Sunday to make Kerrigan's word come alive, to beat Vitality, G2 and Spirit and make the impossible possible.
Still behind him, and in the last attempt for G2, it is flawless from FaZe. In what seemed like FaZe Clan's darkest hours, it's G2's falling stars that light their path to grand finals. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157
This major were filled with storylines, from Mongol's amazing rise to the top, G2's and Vitality's last stance and more, but in the end it was FaZe and Spirit to meet. A clash of the giants, just like the year started, and on everyone's minds, would the year end in the same way as it started, or was this the beginning of something new? Going into this major, FaZe had been placed in the bottom of every single power ranking, and everyone was looking at it in the same way. It was a team of 5 who had ran out of steam and needed something to fuel them up again, and this major playoff was that fuel. While Spirit came into this event looking like a force to be reckoned with, and they had proved it with making it to the major final. And the year started off with the old and new colliding in a brutal beatdown in the elderly home. Would it end in the same, or did FaZe have the last laugh? NUKE was a map Spirit has looked weak on, as Mouse had shown, and for FaZe after beating G2 they felt invincible on NUKE, and that was why FaZe picked it. NUKE as a map is heavily reliant on fast plays or finding opening kills, as the map is airtight for the CTs on the sites. With fast rotation spot all over the map, the CTs can abuse. FaZe started by putting pressure outside with Frozen and Rain, and on NUKE, when the pressure outside comes from the Ts, well, the protocol is for the CTs to already rotate and help. As we can see, Chopper is fast to leave his position to assist outside with a flash and help Donk fall back. But as we can see, this is the goal of FaZe, as they still have 3 players in lobby, hoping for this. As with Chopper helping, he is the heaven player, and he jumps all the way down here, ruining his rotation time for A site if FaZe are going to execute on A. FaZe then uses this smoke, as it seems like FaZe has been able to win outside, and here we can see Frozen walk into the main smoke, as it's very clear what FaZe are going to do, and that is to pressure A site from both lobby and main. And the outside setup has been perfect. Frozen has gotten main, and Chopper has left his position in heaven, as well as FaZe has one last ploy to pull off, and that is a simple flash in ramp, forcing Spirit to now have 2 players watching ramp. Kerrigan after main smoke will use this Molotov and flash here for the roof to set up a fake play, to make sure Spirit are focusing door and not A main. And on this, Magix does a misplay, as he jumps into the vents, which is heard by Frozen, as well as Chopper dropping to the hot roof is heard. And just this position of A main has won FaZe the round, as Frozen heard both the vent drop and the hot drop, and when FaZe goes for the entry, well, they can make a lot of noise going hot, to force Chopper to hold the hot opening, allowing Frozen to walk out and be able to spot Chopper and call him out.
Deception. Smoke. Yeah, it's actually Frozen that walked through it. Does catch Chopper unawares. Into the top side, they break through. Shiro can't do a thing.
Kerrigan on the rush uses this flash, which Chopper dodges, but his dodge loses him some valuable time. As soon as he turns, FaZe is already out, with the jumping Brokey finding this kill. Magix tries to peek out to no success, as he is stuck in this little area of A site, as FaZe knew he was towards vent. Did not have any players going door to be able to isolate this position later, and Chopper on hot. Then FaZe can plant, and here there are 2 players in heaven, one shooting and one running up the ladder, as well as there are just 2 different pistols in heaven, allowing all 4 FaZe players to watch heaven and nothing else, giving FaZe a crucial pistol round win.
Sontics, dual Berettas and Donk on that low HP. It seems that FaZe have taken the T-side pistol, starting as they mean to go on here on their map.
There's a lot to break down in this round. Let's start on ramp and work our way from there. Spirit starts with 3 players in ramp. As usually on NUKE, you are 3 players side, 1 outside, on the lower buys, giving away ramp, or maybe having 1 player there. But Spirit will do the opposite here, with 1 player in this off angle here, 1 hiding behind the boxes here, and 1 in the headshot angle. Their goal is for the headshot angle player to take first contact, drop down, and hopefully the off angles can deal with FaZe ramp take. While FaZe will use a full-on execute to try to force Spirit, just like they did in pistol round, to go outside and focus that. As we can see, the cross smokes being thrown, as well as the outside player molotoving secret, so it seems like an outside take. But Spirit has been smart here, as they have smoked the single door on A site and sent both A players down the vent to go outside. So Spirit are leaving A site open for FaZe. But since it's common for an A site stack in these rounds, they know FaZe will not be able to abuse this. As well as this can allow Spirit to stay in ramp, as they can easily figure out the outside play is a fake. FaZe sends 4 players towards ramp to win it. And here it all goes wrong, but the take is quite good. FaZe molotovs like this, so in case the headshot player angle wants to drop down, he has to run through the molotov and be heard falling back, as well as struggling to get back up again. As well as Donk left his position in ramp to look outside, making sure no FaZe players could push outside and take full control of it. But as he could not see anything, he walks back as soon as FaZe starts to execute. And here FaZe focuses the drop and allows Donk to find 2 kills, as FaZe are not looking.
Full smoke wall, Molotov secret. Action on Zontics. They're not Not taking any chances here, Chad. Flash drops into the Molotov, falls away. That's Donk's dig!
And Donk has to do this to set up Shiro, who has been waiting to get one kill, as the second peek from Donk is not good, but he finds a kill and forces FaZe to focus him, allowing Shiro to find one more kill. And Spirit has gotten 3 kills in ramp for no trades. And on this contact, the players in Secret split up, with Chopper standing outside, fighting Rain, so he can't get A site or outside control, while Magix can run back, help in ramp and upgrade his gun.
Despite their diligence, he's done it! A double from Donk! Disgusting! And Shiro's USB onto Robs!
Both teams start with some early utility outside, with FaZe throwing the main smoke. That is the meta now. While Spirit uses this smoke here and a Molotov to make sure FaZe stays behind it for some seconds, to allow Donk to get into this off angle, as it's a perfect off angle when this smoke is up, as the silo player can't really see you. And the smoke we have seen from FaZe is almost in every single default they play, on the T side of Nuke, as well as both teams using some utility towards single door and A site, with FaZe nading it to break it, while Spirit will Molotov it, to allow their hot player to peek over the Molotov into the door before he smokes it off. This is crucial later. FaZe goes for the normal cross smokes, and this is a play Spirit will try not to allow FaZe to do. As we can see, ramp is open. Spirit has 4 players outside and 1 on A. To allow FaZe to go down Secret this early will ruin the round from Spirit, as only Magix can be fast enough to run down to try to stop FaZe. So here Spirit will nade the smoke and have 2 players holding the break to maybe get a kill or 2. As well as Spirit will Molotov here, and this has managed to stop FaZe, as we can see FaZe will walk back and regroup to think of a different play to go for. When the smokes has been cleared, well, we will see that Spirit will leave outside to only 1 player to fully hold, while Chopper goes into main to be able to help both on A and outside if needed, and Spirit will send 2 players ramp and smoke the ramp opening to make sure FaZe can't explode out to them. And FaZe's plan of pressuring ramp and outside has failed, as the outside pressure has not forced any outside to stay, as Spirit has read this play too well, early having 4 players outside to make sure FaZe could not use the utility too quickly to win Secret or any outside control, but the Heaven player of Spirit is down towards ramp, as Somethings needs some help there. And here FaZe taking A side could still work, but since Spirit smokes ramp, while the Heaven player can quickly run back again, and get to Heaven as soon as FaZe are about to execute site. And FaZe uses this one flash, forcing the Heaven player off, but Magix plays it perfect from the top hot position, finding 3 kills from a spot that he should have been traded from.
That minute mark now. Ping-ponging for action, looking for any way in our FaZe. Now they set their sights on A.
Setup is potent. 3 players tending to this. Flash is good. Magic's not ready for it. Frozen falls, empty-handed. It's only 1 from Robs. And defending the side valiantly, Magix again passes the test.
FaZe has a low buy, as they don't have the economy to full buy. And here, FaZe will again use some early utility outside that is once again met by Spirit using the Molotov to stop FaZe from pushing. But Spirit has decided to not have too many outside, as they know FaZe have a bad buy, meaning outside is not too common to go on a lower buy. So they will have Shiro in Heaven and Donk in main, as they both can look outside, but always have the ability to help on A side if needed. FaZe goes for this one outside smoke from a set lineup to bait out utility from Spirit, as we can see Donk will Molotov the secret opening, as he is expecting the second smoke to soon come. But FaZe wants to freehand throw the smoke instead, when they are ready to walk down Secret, effectively wasting this Molotov from Spirit. But FaZe only has 4 players outside, as they want to do a bait with Robs, who is solo in lobby, and right before FaZe goes outside, he will Molotov towards the vent opening, and this does 2 things. First is to force any main players to focus him, allowing FaZe to not be hit by a Donk spray and make him miss his timing, as well as blocking any vent rotation fast, as they have to run through the Molotov. Once Spirit has understood what FaZe are doing, the Molotov hits the opening, and this makes Donk miss the timing, and the Heaven player has already moved away, allowing FaZe to get down Secret. Chopper has to drop vent as fast as possible, and we can see him tanking this Molotov to get out, and this is heard by Robs, and 3 of FaZe players are running down Secret. While we will see Kerrigan fall back, so Robs is not alone. As with Robs alone, well, we might see him die without a trade, but FaZe does not have any ramp and B site control. So even though FaZe gets secret control, they can't deal with Chopper and kill him. So he is able to get away, and FaZe have to rethink the whole idea of the round, as their goal is to take B, but since Chopper is still alive, he can be a real problem here. But Chopper fell back. Well, FaZe will have full vent control, and that can be crucial. Donk drops down vent to try to catch a timing on FaZe, and here is found for a 1-for-1 trade, and FaZe knows 2 A players rotated down vents.
Now charging Round trying to beat this timing of the HE. I think they're beating it. Disappeared. No info for Donk.
But noisy. Very noisy.
But full back now, back to single door. Zontix as well established the crossbar, but Donk just dived down the fence. And Brokey, he manages to bring that.
Usually meaning ramp or heaven will be open. And on this kill we will see the last ramp player move up towards heaven, allowing Kerrigan to go for this flank here. And this could be massive, if it were not for Spirit understanding that B might not be the target after FaZe did not really pressure it, only sending Rain to make some noise outside of double door. And sends one player back to ramp who finds this kill. This kill from Chopper forces FaZe to go for the execute, and her Magix is alone on site. As on the execute, Shiro is worried about outside and behind heaven. As Kerrigan got so far up, what are the chances a different player for FaZe could have gotten behind them already? Magix smokes hot and then goes for this jump spot before he Molotovs A main. And here FaZe execute is perfect by having Brokey wide swing and then having Rob spam the smoke to split Magix and Shiro's attention, allowing FaZe to run at Spirit on site from different angles they are not ready for. And quickly it's a 2v2. And here FaZe will have Brokey and Hot to hold for heaven, while Rain, who is low, is holding both main and door in this off angle. As if he is able to kill this player, he will be able to quickly help Brokey with the heaven fight. And the 2v2 is played perfect. Brokey deals with the heaven push, while Rain finds the location of the last player. And the crowd helped Brokey a bit here, but he wins the round in the end.
Trying to stay active, trying to catch one off guard. It's Chopper clearing as well. And they do hit the first. Brokey in the clutch. He's got 5 bullets to work with. Changes that. Chopper, high pressure, no smoke. He's holding it. He's holding it in Shanghai. Pulls him off the bomb. Brokey survives. It's FaZe Clan pulling one off of their own.
Spirit and FaZe again are using early outside utility. And here we can see Donk gets to this position here to be allowed to hold silo while no other outsider players can see him. So it's a good position for a 1-for-1 trade. But in this round this will not be the focus, and rather how reactive Spirit are in this round, as FaZe use a second round of utility outside. After they can hear, the garage player uses his nade to break the first smoke. And on this play we can see all 3 players from Spirit react fast, with Hero falling all the way back to here. Donk down to credit card, and Chopper moves out of main to hold outside. It's a lot of map control from Spirit just given up from some smokes for FaZe, and this gives FaZe a lot of rooms outside to play with and use. And with giving up all you had, well, that's when mistakes are happening. Here Donk wants to peek up to get some control outside, and see what FaZe are even doing, and here loses the 1v1 fight against Rain. And that is a massive kill, as first of all it's Donk, but Donk was the closest player outside to stop FaZe. This kill forces 2 things to happen from Spirit. We will see the ramp player rotate away from ramp, as well as Magix, who are here on A site. He used to hold both Hut and main, while now he will change position, so he will only be looking at Hut, leaving A main completely open for now. This kill on Donk is FaZe ticket to win outside, and here they will have 3 players taken outside, where Robs will be walking out of ramp and winning that. So FaZe knows if they can win outside control with Robs in ramp, should be an easy round. But here Chopper is a genius. He hides in this crazy off angle and makes Shiro bait for him. And Chopper is able to find 2 kills from this spot. But FaZe for this outside take used this smoke in hell to make sure no players could be hiding here. But the smoke is about to fade, now that Chopper was able to stall FaZe for so long outside, and Shiro wants to peek here and get a kill. But here Rain is looking for Chopper, and he repositions his crosshair just in time to find Shiro, and this will force Chopper to try to get one more kill. And on all of this, Kerrigan walks into A main, and as I said, Magix is not really holding it, and FaZe only have Zontix left to deal with.
Run unbreakable. Shiro does miss his shot. Frozen. Does he anticipate Chopper so close though? He is behind enemy lines, and now bullets to the backside. Chopper delivers. A double kill from Chopper. Brought low by the nade, but lives on. His impact's already been felt. Same can be said for Rain. Kerrigan by his side. Once more, they find another. Shot down.
FaZe does 2 things early. Let's break both down so you can see why. The first thing FaZe does is to send Robs early to hold the door and blow it up, as this is to abuse the fact that sometimes Spirit will not smoke the door, rather Molotov it, then the top hot player will peek the door before smoking it. As well as this allows Robs to force any main players out with a Molotov or just finding them. As well as then FaZe are sending Kerrigan outside with utility, as this should look like it's a default round and Rain is outside trying to get a kill and some map control to force Spirit to have some players looking outside. And then the last part of the puzzle will be FaZe having 3 players to go and take ramp from Spirit fast. Spirit are going 2 players in ramp to make sure they can as well try to win ramp early. Then they will have Magix on the roof, Donk outside, but in a very passive position, as he can't be inside main until the door has been smoked. And then Chopper will be on A site. So Spirit are super passive, as they want to be ready for whatever will happen in ramp, as that is where the aggressiveness will be in this round early. The read from FaZe is perfect, as ropz is able to walk close to the door and find magics, as the smoke for the door did not come from him, but rather Chopper, who nades first and then smokes the door. And ropz can find his kill on magics peeking over the Molotov, and here he will not waste any time, as he is now smoked off and uses this lined up smoke in front of the vent so he can walk down vent if he thinks that is the best idea. As well as just put the fear into Spirit about a player maybe walking down. Donk uses this smoke from FaZe in outside to walk into garage while holding silo, and this allows Kerrigan to cross him and walk into A main, but since magic dies, Chopper will be holding for this position and finds the trade. This kill makes some stuff set into motion. The first is the ramp rush, and this is perfect as Spirit has pushed up too far to be able to fall off, and FaZe can find both players and get their man advantage. The other is ropz vent dive, as he now understands it's only Chopper left, and main is open, a crucial detail he does not want to change. And with ropz now in vents and FaZe winning ramp control, ropz' only job is to hold off any vent rotation, and here Chopper is aware and uses this fun movement to check vents by only showing his legs and seeing if any player wants to shoot on them to make sure it's cleared. But this as well will tell ropz where Chopper is, and that is not on B, leaving Donk to be the only player FaZe has no clue about. And here when FaZe wins ramp, they will Molotov here to make sure Spirit can't peek them from hell, as well as allowing FaZe to go B. Brokey wants to challenge this hell Molotov, and here he is found. And Donk wins the fight, as he was allowed to swing into Brokey and not the other way around, as Donk is an expert as long as he is allowed to swing first. As his ropz can't see or hear Chopper, FaZe will know Chopper either went secret or ramp for the retake. FaZe will plant here on the red line, as this plant will make sure FaZe can play from both doors and not just one of the doors. Then Rain will as well before the plant smoke here to be allowed to Molotov the right side of ramp and trying to fight the left side before he will get into the double doors. And just like that, for the retake, FaZe has won both doors and been able to close them. But a fun fact, Rain gets stuck in between the doors when he's crossing over while Donk is shooting at him, meaning if Donk sprayed and rather pushed out, he would have been able to kill Rain here. Rain versus Chopper is the fight to look out for, as Rain wins the crucial 1v1 and it's only Donk left. Here Rain will at a headshot angle go for this spam to force Donk to focus him, but he is waiting with this spam until ropz is ready and they can hear Donk coming running. And on Donk's footstep, we will see Rain start the spam, and ropz opening the door to find Donk, who can't even hear the door opens.
Towards the B side, and down he goes to Donk. That's an overstep. Makes this round a whole lot more realistic. Rain and ropz tasked with closing this one out. This is a must-win for FaZe. Brokey watching, biting through his fingernails. Can he count on ropz and Rain? Chopper maneuvers forward. It's a big head-to-head, and Rain wins it. Only Donk remains, and he hasn't got the time. He hasn't got the time, he hasn't got a head. ropz removes it.
Spirit picked Ancient, a map FaZe has looked okay on. Yes, they beat G2 with 3 star players underperforming on it, but wildcards had to make FaZe work their ass off to get a win on it, as well as Heroic took the map of FaZe easily. And Spirit understood that this was the map to win the whole final on. Ancient is a map decided by early utility and mid control for both teams, with cave, red room, bottom mid and ramp being crucial spots that will be smoked off and fought over. There are many defaults that Spirit can play in the pistol round, and here on screen I'm going to show you some defaults and explain them to understand how Spirit will play this round. The most common is B rush, as the Glocks is always better in close range and with a lot of movement, and why we see many top teams prioritize this strat. The other is a more mid-focused strat that requires at least 2 smokes, 1 for red room and 1 for cave, and then having 2 players or 3 players bottom mid and 2 players coming from Fortnite, as this allows the T to win mid control and they can dictate the game from there. So why are Spirit going for the least likely default on a pistol round, with all 5 players holding for A main push? Well, it's common for the CTs to have one early taking full A main control, as this is such a low risk high reward play, as in most defaults A is left open, and as most would be rushing B by the time the CTs even win A main, leaves the play as something the Ts don't really worry about. But Spirit has to read, and here Brokey peeks out to just win control, and is met by 5 players as he is found and dealt with.
Fight from Brokey, goes running straight into the Glock of
Zontix.
This kill forces FaZe to split up. As we can see, they will leave mid and have 2 players on B and 2 on A, leaving a big part of the map open. But FaZe wants to meet all of this, as Spirit starts to use utility, and here we see Kerrigan smoke off main and Robs go temple to catch if any Spirit players has walked out. And key here is to see that Kerrigan waits with his utility until utility from Spirit starts to come, as this forces Spirit to use their utility before falling back, as well as this flash here in front of the box to allow Robs to peek main without being blinded. And from a man down, FaZe has defused the situation for now. ANCINET has some zones. The main zones are middle, donut, A main, ramp and cave. These are the zones most teams wants to fight over. And on ANCINET, mid is the most important one, and why many teams has 2 or even 3 players holding it and leaving a different zone open. And I'm only talking about this as FaZe has done the opposite, by basically leaving the mid zone open. And Spirit has an idea about this, but FaZe are not dumb. As we can see, when FaZe had to split up everyone, we saw Rain push down on the collet boogie to all 5 Spirit players, and him taking this part of ramp, allowing him to cover 2 zones at once, ramp and cave. As well as this allows Frozen to rotate off and cover middle, and FaZe with 4 players are able to cover all the zones. Only one issue is that Frozen is a bit late, as he has to clear every single angle since FaZe has had no mid control for a while. Rain wants to keep on digging, and here walks down to find Chopper in spawn, as he can hear him coming running, and he trades the advantage down to a 4v4, but he has left the cave zone open, and Frozen still is not in mid yet. And on this kill from Rain, we can see Spirit in middle start to run, as they want to catch Rain's timing of walking back, as they all can go from bottom mid to cave, and here Rain is found. Rain kills as force FaZe to go B, and here we will see FaZe rotate over, and Frozen is just in time to get the first player running out, as Spirit used all their utility on the A site take, leaving them to dry peek all of these other angles, only able to Molotov to cut off rotations for FaZe. But on all of this, Zontix will walk out and try to be the lurker here, but as his teammates are dying, he makes noise, and when Shiro sees Kerrigan long, we can see Zontix focuses that, and he is not ready for Robs who finds this kill. And in the 2v1 versus Shiro, look how FaZe plays it, with the first player peeking out while the second player keeps on crouching up and down while peeking to make sure Shiro's crosser transfer, if he were to get the first kill, would not be perfect, and FaZe takes the pistol round.
First man in and first man out. Nice Frozen, can't stabilize for a second. His magic's down. Good work from Kerrigan. Running accuracy connects. Shiro's P250, he gets it this time.
Zontix flank is huge.
Yeah, Robs, maybe you can catch his wind of this. Kerrigan considering his options. 2 head-to-head simultaneously. Will he clear his corner? Zontix does not. Robs stabilizes, gets the headshot. Puts it onto Shiro. Will there be another 1v2 for Spirit in the pistol? Bomb under CT control. Shiro remains poised and he can't close it.
Round 4 is dictated by early utility usage from both teams, and why one of the teams are winning more with their utility usage. But first, what utility does the team use? Well, let's start with FaZe. They start with an early door smoke and bottom mid smoke thrown like this from spawn, as the bottom mid smoke is to push Spirit back in middle and all the way back here so they can't get to any cheeky spots to be able to spam for Fortnite pushes or anything like that. As well as the door smoke will make it harder for Spirit to take any control towards ramp and outside of cave, as this door smoke can mean FaZe has a player close to ramp, or the Fortnite player could already be holding the players crossing out. While Spirit will early start with a red room smoke, as this has the same purpose as the bottom mid smoke from FaZe to make sure FaZe has to either push mid or fall back, as well as the red room smoke makes it so if Spirit goes for a mid take, they do not have to worry about red room killing them. And then a cave smoke will allow Spirit not to worry about cave if their B players wants to go Fortnite and help in middle. So on the early smokes it's similar, but the issue is how FaZe uses the Molotovs to make sure Spirit can't use their smokes as they want, as FaZe will Molotov bottom middle and flash it to make sure Spirit can't push the bottom mid smoke, and we can see FaZe will fully clear it. As well as on A, FaZe will send 2 players and one of them will use this Molotov here over the wall to make sure Spirit can't push towards middle. As well as if they do, the B players will be able to hear them doing that. As well as FaZe early Molotoving ramp just to make sure Spirit can't run up there either. Spirit tries with some flashes and more, but it's not helping. And it seems like FaZe understands this will be a B take, with now Frozen being pushed up in Fortnite behind the cave smoke. But here it falls flat. It seems like FaZe don't want to challenge the ramp walkout in the hopes that their utility is enough, as we can see Donk walking up ramp and FaZe has one player in Cubby holding for the rush and their long player holding for the rush, as Rain has jump spotted in ramp and just missed the timing of the ramp player walking into ramp. Spirit goes for a cave smoke and Rain meets this with a smoke that will land in ramp, and here Spirit wants to win something, as they have no utility left. And earlier Frozen took the cave position from mid, and here Spirit wants to deal with him. Here on the swing, we will see the Tech9 being the first gun to peek, and he will crouch down, so the crosshair placement of Frozen is off when he gets the first kill, as Donk will peek without crouching and finds the trade, and an upgraded gun to his teammates. And as we can see on the map, FaZe has no A players and rather 2 in mid, 1 bottom and 1 top. This makes it so the red room player always have to worry about A site and making him unable to rotate fast towards B to help. Spirit goes for the B site push, as FaZe are 2 split, and here can win the 1v1 duels on site with both Kerrigan and Rain, only managing to get 1 kill themselves. But since Spirit are on a lower buy, they can't smoke anything, allowing Brokey to find 2 kills and Donk is alone. Donk will fake plant to force Brokey to peek and get some info. As in the 2v1, FaZe has no info on how Donk wants to play. But since Brokey is on the left side of the wall here, he needs to peek much more out to find Donk. And since he is so far out, Donk will be able to find his kill onto him. As well as Brokey went closer to the wall to peek, making Donk able to see him before he peeks out. Rops is now in a 1v1, and we can see Donk goes for the plant here, to make sure a spam from cave can't kill him. As well as Donk heard Rops running here, making him so sure and why he is placing himself here in this off angle, and wins the 1v1 and gives Spirit a much needed round.
Up the ramp, Kerrigan will spot on the Magics and all nearly 2. Donk does trade, needs another though, asking a lot of him, and he still manages it. Multi-kill on that hero rifle. Puts it all onto him though, and ace clutch demanded of Donk, and oh my god, he's doing it again! Just the 1 hero rifle. Up to Rops to deny. Can he do the impossible once more? The superstar. And Rops to test him, looks away. My God!
Early on we can see Spirit will use a lot of utility towards middle, to make it look like this is a serious push from Spirit to early win mid control, while FaZe will meet this as they usually do, with 3 players in middle using their default utility to stop Spirit. And FaZe can win mid control, as we can see, but FaZe can't really see anything as they are flashed out and have to back off, as well as not being able to see if any Spirit players has pushed in middle here. And this is the goal of Spirit, as when FaZe has no control early using all of that utility, they are forced to get some control elsewhere. And here Kerrigan will peek A main and be found by Chopper, who is ready for the swing. As this was the goal, force FaZe back from middle so they early can't get all the control in the world in middle, and then hope to have an A player over peak, and Spirit has found opening 10 seconds into the round. But look at Kerrigan's pathing. We can see that this play was not dictated by what happened in middle, as this was the plan for FaZe early round, to have Kerrigan run the perfect line to main to try to win the duel and map control. So what is Spirit's goal? Well, FaZe had 3 players in middle, so by having Kerrigan die, one of those mid players have to fall into donut to hold A site, and that is what Spirit wanted to abuse in this round. Weaken the mid setup and then take it, as they still have some utility left to do so, while FaZe not only have 1 less player in mid, but also no utility for the hold. And we can see Spirit in middle will use this nade around 146, as this is the timing of when Chopper should have to fight the A main player, as well as Shiro using this Molotov here to force Frozen out so Donk can kill him. So it's a perfectly timed play based on the in-game timer. But Frozen is able to find Donk. Magix wants to find the trade and peeks out, as the donut player has been watching A, walks back to middle. And here this opening allows Magix to find him, but FaZe can trade back fast. FaZe quickly after winning mid control are sending all 3 players back to go A, as the B players has not seen or heard anyone, and the mid players are not seeing anyone. Spirit goes for a CT smoke, and we can see that FaZe does not want Spirit to cross without them knowing. And here Robs goes for the nade to break the smoke, but Chopper finds him, and it's a 2v3 for FaZe. But the issue is Temple, and none of Spirit's players are watching it, with both Shiro and Chopper holding cave, as Chopper wants to Molotov and Shiro wants to deal with any players running out of it, while Sontix is hiding here, and this allows Rain to go for a backstab and win the round like that.
In, break of the smoke, could catch a glimpse. Major form, major impact, and Rain does one better, bams away a 1v1, here we go. Health advantage, can Rain and his veterancy convert? Must win round, of course he can!
For this round I will only break down Spirit's awful quest to get the bomb planted. It's a 3v4, and Spirit has the man advantage, as they are running into A site, which is open with only 1 player in donut holding. And the player in donut can hear the Spirit players running, and with only 35 seconds left, ask for a rotation from his 2 other teammates, who are all the way on B. meaning the donut player has to stay alive. But as soon as Spirit starts using utility, we can know they are not focused. With Sontics, who has the only smoke, decides not to smoke donut or CT, but rather like this on the site, not ideal. As well as when he wants to Molotov backside and CT to make sure FaZe can't push it, Shiro jumps up here and blocks it, forcing Spirit out on site whether they like it or not. And with the Molotov miss and this smoke, Brokey is allowed to push into here without worrying about being smoked off or Molotoved off. And this is the downfall of Spirit in round 12. On the plant tap, Brokey understands this is a plant in the smoke, and here you don't need many hours to line this up. Just envision the red lines on the site and spray at some spots in the smoke, and Brokey makes it down to a 3v3. As well as Brokey uses this little gap to peek on the right side of the smoke, and finds one more kill. As we can see, Donk is more focused backside and not CT, as he thought Brokey would go there after the first kill. As well as on all of this, Chopper has to come from middle, allowing Robs to deal with him. And Sontics alone in the smoke fake plants, allowing both Brokey and Robs to know where he is and spam the smoke to kill him.
Calls for the cavalry, they are on their way. Brokey and Rain arrive with a captor. This Molotov, awkward now for Spirit. Smokers on the side, that should set them up for success. Shiro tasked with the plant with 18 seconds, the pressure rises. Rob still donut, Brokey with vision. Could spam away and deny. Gets him off the bomb. It's awkward now. Spirit in trouble. Spirit in a lot of trouble. Brokey comes up clutch. It's an 8-4 half.
FaZe early uses a lot of utility to counter all of the utility mid Spirit will be throwing at them. And this opens up middle completely for FaZe, as the flash and nades are able to do a lot of damage to the two mid players from Spirit and force them both back. But as we can see, Spirit are going to leave A open, as that is the common in the default on Ancient. As from mid, the players can easily rotate to Donut and hold the plant from there, but this opening here is what FaZe wants to abuse. And a lot of this utility will force Spirit back. And this is done as they are not even going for the mid take, but make sure Spirit will not catch on to this so fast. Spirit gets full on bottom mid control, but as we can see, they are not moving anywhere else. And this is not ideal, as with bottom mid control and almost no zone towards B, while it should be as clear as day, FaZe might be headed towards A site. And here FaZe can walk out to A site. But we can see Kerrigan use some more utility towards B to sell that FaZe are about to come out there, of the smoke on the doors, as Spirit will have one player holding for this. FaZe walks out, and first now we will see Spirit starting to rotate, and Rain can spot one player going temple. And this is the trigger for FaZe to start using their utility to take site fast, with a CT smoke combined with a backside Molotov, as well as a donut smoke. Robs goes here to play from, and for the plant it might not be too bad, as it makes sure FaZe can get the plant down, and he can be the security net, and be dealt with first. But after FaZe gets the plant, this is not a good position, as now he is just spinning left and right, and hoping not to get killed from where he is not looking. And you don't have to be an analyst to understand how bad this position is when a player is spinning like this, to be able to see anything at all. There are some fast trades and it's down to 2v2, but Spirit only knows where Frozen is, as he was spotted on top of the tree before he jumped down, which was heard. And FaZe wants to abuse this with Frozen taking first contact. While Kerrigan is hiding, he will move ahead with Frozen all the way to make sure he is fast enough to stop any defuse if Frozen were to die before he could. And FaZe takes the round.
Elevated from Frozen, a real chance, and he wins the duel. Removes Donk once more. FaZe have got this surely. 2 versus 2, time ticking. No kit, no hope. Have to take these fights now, have to hit the shot immediately. As Frozen holds on, Kerrigan ensuring the round, and Shiro last to fall.
The last map was DUST2, a map Spirit was not looking strong on, with a close game to Liquid, a loss to Furia on it, and the same can be said about FaZe Clan, only beating Furia on it and losing to Vitality. And a map FaZe had not played in the last 2 months before the major started. DUST2 is controlled by long and mid control, with so many factors of who controls it, from spawns, early utility and more. And we all knew this brawl for the crown would be brutal. Spirit will start by having 3 players long, and their goal for this round is to win this part of the map, as DUST2 have some different zones, and by winning long you can focus on the other zones later. As on DUST2 the zones are short, middle, B-side and long. And we can see Spirit wants to win long, so they can take away a massive zone and leave the other zones a bit weaker in the start. FaZe has a great long spawn, and here wants to use 3 players to win long. And here we can see FaZe does not want to win long by abusing great spawn, but rather win it by waiting for the correct utility. As Kerrigan starts by using these flashes here to make sure Spirit will expect a long push and play more carefully. As well as we can see that Spirit will Molotov the doors, while FaZe will then drop some flashes to Brokey, as well as using this smoke here, as this common long corner smoke lands like this, while the one FaZe uses will land here, cutting the players pushing long completely out. as well as Brokey spamming the flashes above long, while Kerrigan smokes the Molotov in the doors and looks down while jumping out to not be hit by any flashes. And with the smoke fully isolating Chopper, we can see Magix is forced to back out and FaZe has one long control. And this is a massive issue, as Spirit has used a lot of resources to win long.
Flashes at the ready as the corner smoke drops, as the deep one's going to obscure the vision. They're coming out.
They're coming. It's time. Chopper was not prepared for that. The long corner smoke isolates Chopper and Kerrigan closes it down.
As well in mid, we can see Robs holding this Molotov out, but he will not throw it before the execute from FaZe is on, to make sure this will force any short players away from middle, allowing Robs to take mid without having to worry about short control. As well as right before the execute, FaZe will smoke like this, an Xbox smoke, but it's not a normal one, as this one will bleed more towards middle, allowing Robs to walk down mid without worrying about bottom mid or short. And early round we are seeing FaZe use some unique utility to win a lot of map control with a long smoke and Xbox smoke. And Robs is now in the smoke, he just have to wait for the perfect timing, as versus Liquid, winning long and short seemed like two spots Spirit was not too aware of. But Spirit on this def long and utility mid wants to win it back, and Rob's position is perfect, well almost, as he pushes too far into the smoke, and here Sontix can just find Robs as he can't even see that his gun and head is sticking out of it.
To work with if they jump in a pit this big. Oh, what?
What is that from Zontix?
And def long has been revenged from Spirit. FaZe has two options now, take long fast and win site, or go back to deal with the mid push. And here FaZe opts to go back, as they can't really push through their own long smoke to try to win site. And when going back, Sontix is able to find one more kill before FaZe can finally trade him off. While Rain will use the smoke to be able to get himself here in this off angle, hoping Spirit wants to win back long control and give him a free kill or two. Rain can hear a rotation from a long player falling back, as FaZe has showed the bomb going back to site after killing Sontix to make sure his def cam can cooperate with FaZe on this one. And we will see Donk falling back, as B is open from Spirit. FaZe then goes back and uses this smoke to cross, but Shiro finds a great opening over the smoke to win the first kill, as all three FaZe players are walking towards the wall, and this allows Shiro to get on top of the box and find one kill and fall back.
Shiro does as well.
Barrel.
Spotted, Frozen's a dead man.
FaZe smokes on site to allow an open plant while being safe, as well as a smoke the FaZe threw on site will allow Brokey to use this ledge here on site to get a more elevated and a better peak spot than the ramp offers in these retakes and hold scenarios. And FaZe plays it perfect by making Spirit focus one player at a time and switching the focus, with the way FaZe peaks and falls back. With Rain taking first contact and finding a kill, this makes both players from Spirit focus him, allowing Brokey to find one more kill towards Gandalf, and Shiro is alone in a 1v2 versus FaZe. Q now wants to play together and win this round.
Making a 2v2, but it's actually Rain that manages to connect. Removes Donk. Magic's next victim. They are both low. Shiro's USP could be potent. Got time to work with. No kit yet. Opts for the MP9 instead. In lieu of a better weapon, it can work. It does! Brokey hits a banger!
For this whole match, Spirit understands FaZe are afraid of Donk, as they keep on switching where he starts, either A or B, so FaZe can never know.
Now he's back over to B.
Keeping them guessing, keeping them on their toes, thinking they've solved the riddle.
And in this round, this will be crucial for them. But let's look at the start of the round. Here Spirit opts to use a nade and not a smoke, as the default is to smoke here to make sure the AWPer in top middle from the T can't see how many crosses over to B, as well as trying to tag down a player or even kill him. But a smoke on DUST2 is worth a lot of money. It is the best piece of utility in Counter-Strike 2 and especially on DUST2. So here they will rather use a nade in front of the door and cross using the nade's smoke particles to cover them. FaZe uses the Molotov short and a smoke Xbox. Then FaZe will be sending two players up short, as something Spirit showed everyone versus Liquid was how open they sometimes can leave short. And this is what FaZe wants to abuse. But to make this spot so open, well, you have to make Spirit think it's fine. As early on, Spirit will send two players long, and here FaZe will throw some utility over to make sure Spirit stays. And on the flashes over, we can hear the AWP of Shiro shoot, and this indicates that Spirit are on long holding, making it likely short is open for business. Spirit on the other part of site will Molotov B tunnels to make sure FaZe can't push them, as well as having two players on B to hold site. FaZe tries to go short, but gets smoked off just in time, as we can see Magix lines up this God Flash, as this allows him to be safer and peek when he hears FaZe are executing, and not to be blinded and pushed when he stood in front of the smoke like he did. When the smoke fades, FaZe will start by going short, but will use the CT smoke to make the B players' rotation quite slower, as they will have to worry about middle being an option from FaZe to push. and then FaZe will use this smoke towards short, and these flashes to allow Rain to drop and find a kill in CT. And Chopper can see the shadow of Rain dropping, but Rain's maneuver midair allows him still to be unpredictable and find his opening kill. And now Magix is lost, as he can hope his God Flash allows him to peek, but he is about to be swarmed. Magix peeks out as the flash is popped, and FaZe uses 2 Molotovs to force him out in the open, as they will Molotov Goose and then ramp, so here FaZe can trade him back quite fast. As well as to help Rain as he is low, FaZe will use this smoke in Element, or whatever you call it. And this smoke will block off Rain as well, just in time for when Donk is sneaking his way up towards site, to allow Rain to stay alive a bit longer and move up to catwalk. As well as Shiro has not been peeked or anything, as FaZe is waiting for Frozen and let him deal with the Opper, as this smoke will allow the plant without anyone from Spirit stopping it. And here FaZe wins the round. But I love how Donk heard Rain jump on the box but did not want to go for a random chance of a spam into the smoke in hope of killing him, and waited for him to peek on catwalk to get a kill. But the lurker from FaZe found 1 kill, as well as Brokey using the contact to peek out finds the 4th kill, leaving Somtix in a 1v3.
God Flash lined up by Magix as well. Obscured by the palm leaf, they won't have a chance to react. He times it right. They call upon Shiro. He's found Chopper, jumping straight down to CT. Magix forced wide by the flame, still takes 1. Donk maintains CT control, Rain is there. And Donk has a great idea as to where he is. Another smoke deployed, Rain trying to mantle up. Donk is on hot pursuit. He's going to know exactly where you are. He is behind. Man advantage for FaZe, Rain lives on, repositions, but only for a moment. Donk hits it, Frozen does as well. Oh, and Brokey.
So we can see a split in this round, with FaZe taking long control fast with 2 players pushing long, as well as 1 staying back to use this smoke for double doors, as this smoke is what the meta is on DUST2, making smokes that does not bleed out too much, as on B side this is the best door smokes to use. As you can see, it does not bleed out onto sides. Can see the same on this long smoke from FaZe, where Spirit would rather try to win mid and short control by smoking door off, molotoving underground, and timing it with 2 great flashes here from the B players, in case there isn't FaZe players in tunnels, who will be forced to push more towards tunnels from the Molotov and fully blinded by these 2 flashes. And the reason for this play is that early round Spirit did not have any players holding bottom mid to see if any FaZe players went lower tunnels, so this is just to not make any mistakes and give trades or free kills to FaZe. Spirit will send 4 players short and use a bunch of utility to take it, and it's perfect how they have a way to create an angle and advantage with the random smokes we are seeing them use, as they can pick FaZe apart 1 by 1, giving them an 11th round.
His way, changing the way this game is played.
Have to play retake A.
Proactive, starts to move in, up towards the ramp, perhaps overlooked. There's Donk in the feed. Problem for FaZe Clan. They needed this one, they needed it, and Magix and Donk taken away from them.
It's round 23, and this comeback from FaZe has almost worked, as they are only 2 rounds off forcing this game into overtime. Shiro has a great spawn to peek mid. Here goes for the peek and misses the head of Brokey. And when he peeks back, stop. Well, let's see what FaZe setup is in mid, where both ops will be holding. So Brokey will peek out in a harder spot to be hit, and when Shiro will shoot and miss, as it is a hard shot to hit, Rops, who is waiting, will peek out. And here when Shiro goes for the repeek, he is found.
Got it done.
Tip of the head.
Oh!
How's he done that?
Double or pick mid. They are throwing some punk Counter-Strike at Spirit now.
And quickly, look how close this shot is to Rops. This could have tagged up Rops, and that is crucial detail for the end of the round. And we can see Spirit are sending 3 players fast towards B. And after this kill from Rops, we will see him instantly Molotov B tunnels to make sure Spirit can't push out and take B site, as it is open right now. At the meantime, FaZe 3 players on long will be able to win it. FaZe are perfect right now, so what can go wrong? We have to skip to the 1 minute mark. And here FaZe has 3 players focusing long, Frozen in this off angle and Kerrigan to take first contact, as the goal is for Spirit to fight Kerrigan and focus him, forgetting to look behind the door and set up a trigger discipline play from Frozen. But here it all goes wrong, as FaZe wants some information towards the doors. And here Kerrigan goes for this flash and blinds Donk, and Frozen pushes in, and here he is found without any trades.
The setup is ready. Kerrigan to take first contact. If he goes down, Frozen might go overlooked. This is Frozen's time.
As you go ahead of the play, swinging in, Donk is blind, Frozen! Can't connect!
And after the flash, Kerrigan walks back thinking Frozen clears the door, and he can focus short. But when Frozen dies and can call 2 players coming along, we can see Kerrigan pulls out his smoke and freezes up completely, as he is being pushed, like he don't know if he have to fall back, push long or smoke it off. As well as after Kerrigan is killed, we will see Brokey miss a crucial shot, and a round that started in a man advantage for FaZe is now a 2v4 and Spirit are on match point to winning the major grand final. Spirit will be fast to win this round and lift the trophy as they throw the cross smoke on the fly. A great smoke, but remember, all smokes on the fly does not have the same theory crafting as a smoke with a lineup and many hours of understanding the issues you have to worry about with a lined up smoke. And Rain can hear the player on short running above him and wants to use this timing to get to the boxes and get this nasty angle here on any players pushing A site. Rain finds 1 kill and drops down instantly, as he is able to spot the bomb, but FaZe no Spirit has to focus of getting the bomb, so here Robs will do something that will have a spot named after him, as the bomb got dropped in the middle of site, as well as FaZe knows who will pick it up, with Chopper running into his own Molotov to get to Goose. And when he goes to pick up the bomb, on low time he is focusing Rain, allowing Robs to go for the jump no scope with the AWP to find his kill.
Goes Rain and Robs. 2 versus 4. Couple of clicks to the mouse, and it's a quick one tap to Zontix. Nice. Oh, jumping, no scope. Rain and Robs.
And from a 4v2 it's now a 2v2, as well as Rain using this attention to walk up on site and make sure Spirit can't plant. And here Donk misses a crucial AWP shot, as he sees Robs jumping and then sees Rain head, forcing him to do an uncomfortable adjustment. Crazy to think about it, but with an AK, Donk might have been able to win this round, as Robs would have been an easy spam through the smoke, or just to tag down Robs again, and we will see why soon. And with Magix left on low time, Rain peeks and just whiffs the spray, and Robs peeks out and hits an amazing flick. But the reason we have pointed out 2 separate occasions where Rob's health was important is that Magix on low HP is able to dink Robs down to 3 HP. So if any players had been able to damage Robs, Spirit would have won the round and event right now. As well as on long, there was an AK drop Magix could have changed to, making this headshot a 1-shot 1-kill.
Refuse to surrender. Magix recovers the orb. Spots that one. Good he transfer. Oh my God! 3 points of hell. He dinked him. Robs refuses and forces the final round of regulation.
We just broke down round 23, and I decided I wanted to show you this round with the caster reaction as well as round 24 to see how it all went down, as this was some of the most hyped up rounds I have ever seen. And my girlfriend took a video of me reacting live to the final, this from round 23, and I will add it to the round and how it happened. I will blur my face, don't laugh at me.
His impact. They almost had the major right there and then, and what better way to have got it done?
Tip of the head.
Oh!
To confirm the Rob can. How's he done that?
Double or pick mid. They are throwing some punk Counter-Strike at Spirit now.
Shiro has to watch as this 4v5 transpires. Magix actually picks up that AWP. Perhaps they're going to overlook the possibility of a late repeat from T-side AWP. Util mid. This shot. Brokey tries a wall bang. Rain, the rock of FaZe. Maintains control of middle. Magix posted. Hoping for an overextension that Rain is not going to give him. Bombs maneuvering back.
This setup is ready. Carrigan to take first contact. If he goes down, Frozen might go overlooked. This is Frozen's time.
As you go ahead of the play, swing it in. Donk is blind. No! Can't connect. Carrigan in trouble now. Do you fight? Do you run?
They're in
He opts for the fight. He opts for the fight, and Magix will punish. FaZe Clan. Oh, Brokey misses his shot.
Hvorfor? Hvorfor er det gøy? Hvorfor piker på den? Er de helt idioter? Ok, greit, det er 2 og 3. Nei.
My God! 3 points of hell. He dinked him. Robs refuses and forces the final round of regulation. after time.
They had the number advantage.
2 on 4.
This one right here.
Jumping, no scope.
Back on that bullshit.
Time after time, 1 HP. What is it? 3 frags, 3 HP. Robs has put them within 1 round of recovering this DUST2. But on the 24th, Spirit have formally recovered.
30 kills for Donk, 21 for Magix, the two putting in a shift, 51 combined. FaZe have had to work so hard for the rounds they've been able to convert. They've come this far, but is it all for naught? Is it all for nothing? It's Beast by Miss, there'll be a gap over the top, ever so slightly.
Range doesn't have the awareness. Maneuver to it, frozen in the open. Robs again with a double shield.
But B's open.
B is wide open. Zontix and Shiro sees the sight, and Donk now position noted. Rain, can you save him again? Zontix tucks into car. Bomb is planted. Time against FaZe Clan as Spirit are once again within reach of closing it out in the final round of regulation. Karrigan, Rain, Brokey fighting for overtime. Zontix has to pick his moment, find his charge, and he has struck brilliantly onto Rain. It's collapsing around them. Karrigan and Brokey, it comes down to the 1v1. It's overtime. Denied! Regulation converted!
In the end, Team Spirit are crowned our newest major champions. And it all came down to a 1v1 and some crucial mistakes from FaZe almost pull off the greatest comeback ever in Counter-Strike history, with a 2v4 round. And FaZe should be proud of themselves, proving the old guys still got it. But, as most said, the year ended in the same way. But that is not true, as the year started with the young generation kicking the ass of the old, while the year ended with the old showing they still had some fight left in them. Spirit should be over the moon, placing all of these players in the Hall of Fame, as IGL, star players, AWPers, entry-fraggers and more, while FaZe has to rebuild for the next major, but to be proud of doing the impossible. And that was the video. Thank you for watching, and here are 2 videos YouTube told me you would like. Bye.